皆さんお久しぶりです。お元気ですか？今日も一緒に日本語の勉強をしていきましょう。So today's topic is temperature. So first of all, I have to shout out my student, Alex, if you're watching. I've been teaching him Japanese private lesson and he's been doing really well. Then he's getting into Chinese characters, which is a big task, but he's doing well. Yay. And because it's been really hot in Los Angeles, and when we met for the class, he told me in Japanese that it's really hot in LA. In every culture, how to measure temperature is different. Like for example, water and hot water. So it's basically just the water is water and it's just hot water. But in Japanese, we have two different words. So water is mizu or mizu, right? But if it's hot water, we have the word yu, or you say oyu. So for me, it's like two different things, right? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's just one thing. It's a temperature change. I've been thinking about doing this lesson for like last 2 or 3 days, but it's been so hot. Today it's okay. I just turned off the AC and I'm not sweating yet. I personally, well, I'm used to it. Used to them both, Fahrenheit and Celsius. But I personally prefer Celsius only because the freezing point is 0. So it's plus minus, right? So it's hard, it's easy to understand. I think most of the world use Celsius. No? Yeah, it's one of those things like feet, inch, ounce. Like in America, we have different way of measuring things. 3 days ago, if I say it in Japanese, 3日前、41度でした。If you be specific, 摂氏41度でした。Do is degree, right? So this is how you say temperature. We have sort of a different idea of the temperature of objects, like you know, the things that physically you can touch, or the temperature of the air. Usually, you know, when you describe the weather, it's about the air, right? So I need to kind of separate these two categories. So let's start with where do I start? Let's start with hot. Yeah, because that's all I can think of right now. Then it just goes down to cold. The translation of hot is atsui. Atsui. Oh yeah, it's all adjectives, so it ends with e. However, yeah, it's both atsui, object, and temperature of the air, which is kion. By the way, sorry, kion, the air temperature. But if you write kanji, they are different. The object atsui is this, and temperature, air temperature atsui is this. I know you're saying like, why are there two different kanjis? Don't ask me, I didn't make those, sorry. And the same goes with warm. If it's object, well, so both are atatakai. Atatakai. Yeah, two tas, right? Atatakai. Or sometimes we say attakai. It's easier to say attakai than atatakai. It's like tongue twister. Yes, so attakai, atatakai. And for kanji, there are two different ones. For objects, this one, atatakai. And the air temperature is this one. So I know it's kind of confusing. So for the hotness and warmness, I just wrote down this chart. Again, it's my handwriting, so it's not as neat as the printed one. And I wanted to mention, if you get lost, there are two ways to specify. So, you know, when you type in the computer or your phone, it gives you two options. Like, which one is it? Which one is the atsui? For the object, which one is the air temperature? So when you look at it, these this means water. So this part right here. Yeah, and this part right here, like dots, 5, 4, 3, it's just a matter of space. So when you see this, that means object. But if you here see this, they don't have these dots, right? And instead they have this like thing right here. I can't reach. So this one right here, that's the letter for sun. You know, sun. So sun gives you heat, and it's usually weather related, right? So that is going to be for your air temperature. Okay, and yeah, so I know there's like a little sun right here, but you know, you have water here as well, so it is actually for the object. Just a quick reference. And so let's go to cool. Cool is actually cool and cold. The object temperature is both 冷たい. 冷たい. This one right here. However, so we use the same word, but like in English, if you use it as the sort of meaning like comfortable, that means cool. If it's not comfortable to the point that, you know, it's just too much, but it's still 冷たい. So it can be cool or cold, depends on the context. So yeah, comfortably cool or uncomfortably cold. Yes. So, however, when it's the air temperature, we have two different words. For cool, it's 涼しい. 涼しい. Yes. And if it's cold, it's 寒い. 寒い. Yes. So 涼しい is, you know, it's nice. But cold is like, ugh. So, since we are on this topic, and you know, in English, for example, like you use those words to describe something else than temperature. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it. First of all, I mean, yes, it's kind of slang thing, I guess. You know, sometimes use the cool, hot to describe people, you know, being like sexy or handsome, stuff like that. So lately, definitely in English, you use the word hot to describe something or somebody is sexy. So if you say 彼女は暑い, that doesn't mean she's like sexy and hot. But instead, we use 暑い or 冷たい to describe somebody's character. So more like the temperature of your heart. So if I hear 彼女は暑い, which is a little rare, but it can make sense in the way that she's got this like really fiery personality. So, you know, like when let's say in a race, she can be like, really competitive. So somebody can be 熱い in that sense. And the opposite is, you know, 彼女は冷たい, meaning in this case, it's cold. It's not cool. It's not cool, it's cold, which means a little bit negative. So when you have a cold heart, yeah, exactly the same in English. Somebody is, somebody is cold-hearted. A personality is a little bit, you know, distant, not very personable. Shutting off, sorry, yes. So yeah, we use those. I guess we can use 温かい also, like warm heart, which is a great thing, you know, warm personality. So those are the words we use to describe a person, more of the temperature of their heart, mind, you know, not the look. So yeah, so I sometimes hear like somebody is like so hot and so 熱い. It's like, not exactly, it doesn't translate that way. So that's one thing. But you know what? So we don't use the word hot in the same way, but cool we can use the same way. But we don't use the word 冷たい. We use the word cool. cool in katakana because it's taken from English. So cool is kind of, handsome, stylish, or can be a little bit snobbish maybe. 彼女はクールだ。Yeah, could be not too negative, but sort of like a composed demeanor. Also like fashion or something like, gadgets. Yeah, you can say cool to describe it. かっこいい, right? So we use cool for that. And what else? How about this one? Like we use the word, we like this thing like called atmosphere. I don't know, maybe we did this phrase, 空気を読む. 空気を読む. We use read the air. So we care about this like room energy, right? We call it like 雰囲気, atmosphere. That's the energy, right? And sometimes, when somebody says like make a really silly jokes, almost to the point that you can't laugh, and then the whole room goes like, uh-oh, it's like it's like the temperature of the room went down like 5 degrees, and that kind of feels like, ooh. So we use the word samui for that. So these are some usage to describe the temperature, not the actual temperature, but its energy or somebody's personality. Kind of goes with the English expressions as well. And also, since we're on this topic, I wanted to give you a little bit variation. If you've been to Japan in summertime, you know what I'm talking about. Japan is humid, hot, which I don't know if I can do that right now. I used to, but it's like if you walk for 5 minutes, it's like you're sweating, like you're soaking wet, right? Humid, hot, we say 蒸し暑い. 蒸し暑い. The first 蒸し came from the verb 蒸す, which is to steam. So I guess it's steaming hot. Yeah. If you want to emphasize like how cold it is, like freezing cold, ice cold, 凍えるほど寒い. 凍えるほど寒い. Sorry, it's a little long, but 凍える means to freeze, right? So 凍えるほど寒い. Yes, so if you want to emphasize. Oh, and one more thing. The food temperature is, yes, the same as the object. However, I might have done it in the last video with Amy. I hear hot being used almost the same as spicy in English, but no, it's not gonna work in Japanese. Hot is temperature hot. If you want to say spicy, that is karai. Karai. Yes. So karai. Yeah, I think it's two different things, because if something can be spicy when it's cold too, right? So it has little to do with temperature for me. I turn off the AC because the sound, it's gonna pick up the sound, 101 of filming. You turn off all the ACs and heaters. So I turn off the AC and all the windows are shut down, and it's getting hot. I can tell my sweat is coming down. All right, so I'm gonna get going. Hopefully your summer is fun and comfortable, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.